Day 6 of Lil Durk's trial delivered some of the most dramatic courtroom moments we've seen yet, and somehow Kanye West showing up wasn't even the craziest part of the day, even though it completely stole the headlines. Let's start with what actually happened with the testimony, because that's the part that actually matters for the case itself. Kacey Hester, known as OTF Jam, continued his second day on the stand, walking jurors through the events leading up to the August 2022 shooting that killed Saviay'a Robinson, known as Lul Pab, outside the Los Angeles gas station. According to reporting from inside the courtroom, Jam described 3 vehicles trailing Quando Rondo's black Escalade through multiple stops, including a dispensary and a clothing store in Beverly Hills, before the group ended up at the gas station next to the Beverly Center. Jam repeatedly told jurors he didn't know Los Angeles well enough to identify the specific streets or neighborhoods they passed through, which is honestly a pretty telling detail about how unfamiliar and disorganized this alleged operation actually was on the ground. If you're new here, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, because this trial keeps producing moments nobody could have scripted, and I'm breaking down every single day as it happens.
So I'm back here, I'm back outside the courthouse. You know what's going on, man. We're back here for Durk. This is day 6, I believe. But what's truly crazy is OTF Jam was on the stand at the end of the day yesterday. He's going to be continuing his testimony today. It's going to be crazy. Now, obviously, you saw me getting mobbed by Durk fans yesterday. I'm not going to lie, there's been a lot of weird stuff going on. I'm getting all types of DMs, all types of people threatening me, saying they're going to drop the low. Bro, you know where I'm at every single day, bro. I'm not scared of you guys. But at the end of the day, it is absolutely crazy. Everybody's trying to suppress free.
One of the most significant pieces of testimony involved an alleged exchange where Jam told prosecutors that Durk has said something along the lines of, if they catch Quando or Tim, they gonna be straight. You ain't gotta worry about nothing. After someone in the room reportedly asked whether the reward would be half a ticket or $1 million. That's the closest thing to an actual compensation discussion that's come out in testimony so far, though notably, no specific dollar amount has ever been confirmed by anyone testifying. Jam also testified about a separate incident where Durk allegedly took him around Tory Lanez in Miami, and Jam said he wanted to rob one of Tory's associates for his chain. According to Jam, when he mentioned this to Durk, Durk responded, "That's the Jam I want to see." Prosecutors presented that exchange as evidence that Durk actively encouraged violent behavior from people around him, while the defense argued it was unfairly prejudicial since it dragged in an unrelated incident and a recognizable name that could carry extra weight with the jury. The judge actually denied a defense motion for a mistrial over that specific exchange.
That courthouse, not too many Free Durk fans out here. I don't know, maybe they was sleeping in today. No Free Durk fans that I can see. But basically, there was a very crazy update. And what ended up happening was basically OTF Jam was back on the stand for the whole first half of the day. He ended up saying some pretty crazy comments, especially at the end. So I'm going to start at the end and work backwards. But they basically asked Jam, they said, why did you choose to cooperate? What was your motivation for this? Why did you turn on Lil Durk? And he basically said, I was mad at Lil Durk for putting me in that situation, and I'm still mad at him now. He said that Vonnie seemed like a goofy to me. I did something that I know I shouldn't have done, and the last time I did something with people that I didn't know, I did 12 years for it. I was doing this for Durk's selfish reasons. Maybe Cuz and Dee Dee had a reason to do it. I didn't have no relationship with Von. I basically didn't know a whole bunch of these people that were sent on the hit. He basically said, I feel like Durk sent me on selfish bullshit. He said, I can't forget all the support that Durk gave me, especially when I was locked up. I can never forget that. I still got love for him. But he says, look, I know how it looks now, but I still got for him. Blood was there for me. I can't forget that, and I feel bad for telling. But at the same time, I still love him, but I don't respect him. He said that he could be killed for his testimony for cooperating. And he also kind of pointed out a couple of things that really just motivated him, that why in this occasion did he decide to tell? He explained there were multiple reasons. He said he felt like the hit was done sloppy. It was done with people who shouldn't have been there. Obviously, he said that he thought Vonnie was a goofy. And he said there's a big difference between doing something to somebody that you don't like. But he said in this case, he felt like Lul Pab ain't have nothing to do with it. He said he felt like an innocent man got killed and it weighed heavily on him. He wanted to get it off his chest. He said he didn't think it was guaranteed that he would get caught, but he thought about it. He thought it was hot. He said, why do we go and do this in LA with all them rich people and actors around? He said that was a bad place to do a hit. So the prosecutors actually asked him, they said, look, you testified and you pled guilty for your role in the LA shooting as well as 2 other murders. what are you hoping for from this? He said, well, I'm hoping for a reduction in my sentence, but he made it clear there's been no promises made. He's not getting...
Ruling matters more than it might seem on the surface, because it means jurors got to hear an allegation involving a completely separate, unrelated situation that has nothing to do with the actual murder charges Durk is facing. The defense's argument was essentially that bringing up an incident involving someone as recognizable as Tory Lanez creates an emotional association in jurors' minds that has nothing to do with whether Durk orchestrated this specific murder-for-hire plot. But the judge apparently didn't find that argument compelling enough to warrant a mistrial. Drop your thoughts in the comments on this one, because I want to know, does an alleged comment like that actually prove intent to orchestrate a murder? Or is that the kind of loose talk that happens constantly in certain circles without meaning what prosecutors want it to mean? Perhaps the most emotionally weighted moment of the day came when Jam testified before the lunch break, telling the courtroom, "This may be hard to believe because of what I'm doing. I still have love for him. I just don't have no respect for him." That's a genuinely complicated thing to say about someone you're actively testifying against in a case that could put them away for life. Reports from inside the courtroom also described Durk and Jam appearing to look toward each other across the room before testimony resumed that morning, with Durk's legal team specifically requesting a monitor adjustment so they could get a clearer view of Jam's face from the defense table during his testimony. There was also a notable moment when Jam identified Durk as someone who participated in Robinson's killing, and according to courtroom observers, Durk appeared to look away at that exact moment. Jam himself was reportedly seen shaking his head repeatedly during a break before putting his head in his hands. If this breakdown is actually helping you follow along with everything happening in real time, smash that like button, because keeping track of a trial with this many moving pieces and this much emotional weight isn't easy, and I want to keep doing it justice. Now, let's get into Kanye West, because his appearance genuinely became the story of the day, regardless of what was happening on the stand. Kanye, who's legally changed his name but is still widely known by it, showed up Thursday to support Durk, both of whom share deep Chicago roots. According to TMZ, Kanye was seated in the second row wearing an all-black look, including leather pants, entering with sunglasses on before removing them once seated.
In a car that apparently had a gun in it while he was still on parole from that attempted murder case that he just got out after serving 12 years on. And he basically said that at that point he decided to talk to the FBI. He wanted to get it off of his chest. The Lul Pab murder was weighing on him. He felt like Pab was an innocent man and that he'd been sent on a dummy mission with some goofies by Durk for selfish reasons. And he said he saw an opportunity to get out of the situation. What was very interesting is when he got arrested, he basically wrote a handwritten note to the FBI. So what he claimed is that he said that he was allowed to make a phone call. He said the official phone wasn't there, or it wasn't working. So they said, look, we'll let you make a supervised recorded call on your cell phone. But like, that's what we're going to have to do. We'll allow you that. So he made a call, and then he told the cops, hey, can I have a bit of paper to write down a phone number? They said, sure. But he didn't write down a phone number. He wrote down a handwritten note which said this exactly. It just said, I know about murders. I don't want to talk on camera. I know a lot. So he gave that handwritten note to an arresting officer. That basically was then, worked its way up the chain to the FBI. And the prosecutors asked him, they said, why didn't you want to be on camera? Obviously, this is going to be a big controversial thing when it comes to Brian Steele. Obviously, he was absolutely clapping back.
Outside the courthouse afterward, he was photographed holding up a Free Durk shirt. This actually wasn't the first high-profile appearance of support during this trial either. Machine Gun Kelly showed up earlier in the week, watching proceedings from an overflow room, continuing a public relationship with Durk that includes MGK playing guitar during one of Durk's Amazon Music live performances back in 2023. What's interesting is how differently these two appearances were treated by court staff. Reports indicate celebrities have generally been given VIP-level treatment getting into the courtroom throughout this trial, with MGK reportedly able to bypass a lot of the media presence a few days earlier, and Kanye apparently getting in despite arriving late and there being a long line to get inside. That kind of preferential access for high-profile supporters adds another layer to how this trial is being covered and experienced by the public versus how an average person's case would typically unfold. Think about what it actually means for the optics of a trial when a figure as massive and attention-grabbing as Kanye West walks in specifically to show support, whether or not that was calculated. Courtroom observers noted that Kanye's presence created a real distraction from the serious testimony happening at the same time, with plenty of attention in the room shifting toward him rather than staying fully on Jam's testimony. What's also worth noting from earlier in the trial is that prosecutors showed jurors an unreleased music video during day 3 depicting Durk chasing and shooting an actor portraying Quando Rondo, which they argued demonstrated a revenge motive tied to King Von's 2020 death. Durk's defense attorney, Brian Steele, pushed back hard on that, arguing the video was simply artistic expression from what he called a grief-stricken artist processing law.
The question is, okay, tell us about that conversation. OTF Jam 9 says, I don't know who, I can't remember who initially brought up the trolling stuff, but Blood got talking about it, and he got to talking about what the rapper 6ix9ine doing. This is on this fat-ass, musty, black, fucking gorilla-ass nigga, Seti Nash. This the bias shit. Let's bring it over here. This thing about to do life off of Instagram comments. Go to the fucking left. This right here, this the 1 foot in, 1 foot out, YN Muslim, alhamdulillah, special model 3.
Oh yeah, yeah, hold on, yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
this shit attached?
Yeah,
Oh,
this shit attached. No,
that's the
look.
drill special.
Yeah, this the drill special. This for all the Muslims that wanna,
Like I
you
said,
know, all
no
the
mask needed.
Nah, this the YN. Look, you could do this.
Through his music, not a literal confession to criminal intent. That tension between treating an artist's creative output as evidence versus treating it as protected artistic expression is likely going to keep coming up as this trial continues. Prosecutors reportedly have around 35 witnesses prepared for this case, with roughly 20 of them considered central to their overall argument. So even with as much drama as Day 6 brought, this trial still has a long way to go before we get anywhere near a verdict. As for Jam's motivation for cooperating in the first place, his cooperation reportedly began after a 2023 arrest for being in a car with a gun while on parole. According to reporting, he wrote a note to a police officer during a supervised phone call that simply read, "I know about murder," which eventually led to his cooperation with federal investigators. This case keeps escalating in ways that feel almost impossible to predict from one day to the next. And with dozens more witnesses still expected to testify, I don't think we're anywhere close to seeing this settle down. Between the emotional weight of Jam's testimony, the celebrity appearances turning parts of this into a media spectacle, and the ongoing legal battles over what evidence is even admissible, this trial has become one of the most closely watched cases in hip-hop in recent memory. I'll keep tracking every development as this trial continues to unfold. Let me know what you guys think in the comments about today's testimony and Kanye's appearance, and I'll catch you with the next update. Peace.